Hello and welcome to the 58th episode of Downtime Podcast featuring Jeremy and Alyssa. Alyssa is out again today, so I brought on my brother as a second guest, and we will be talking about all things Jurassic Park video game related. We actually grew up playing a lot of Jurassic Park / dinosaur games, so we'll talk about those. And at the end, we're going to talk about Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom, a little bit of a spoiler cast since we saw it recently, and we have some very strong opinions about the movie. So first things first. We watched Jurassic Park when we were younger, right?
Mm-hmm.
We have a long history with the franchise. We can quote almost all the lines, the most memorable ones in the movies.
Yeah. And I believe Jurassic Park is what got me really interested in like dinosaurs, and so because of that, I've always had this love of like finding like a really good dinosaur game, which honestly there are not a lot of. But some of the Jurassic Park games they're all right. They're pretty good, you know.
Yeah, we own quite a few of them. We have two of them in front of us. One is Jurassic Park Operation Genesis, which is the park building 3D sim, and the other one is Dinosaur Battles.
Oh yeah.
I don't think we played that one a lot though.
Not a lot. It's like a Jurassic Park dinosaur fighting game.
Yeah,
sort of. I don't know how to
Street Fighter meets dinosaurs.
Yeah, it's
not really like that though, but it's like a lot clunkier and slower.
It's weird.
Why did we get that? Do you
I don't
remember?
know. It's because it had Jurassic Park on the title.
Oh yeah.
I don't know. It was all right. There was some other Jurassic Park games that we got. Some of them were weird. Like there was those games that were, it was just like, the ones where you're like the little Power Ranger guys, and you like
Power Ranger guys.
And you have to like throw balls at the dinosaurs and capture them or something. It was like some kind of rescue thing.
Dino Defender?
Dino Defender.
Oh
like
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. We have those in our apartment somewhere.
Yeah, those games are also kind of weird.
And then we have the Sega Genesis games, our favorites.
Oh yeah.
Well, the second one's our favorite. The first one is
pretty
hard.
All right. It's only single player though.
It's really hard.
Yeah, it's really difficult. But then the Lost World is probably one of my favorite Sega Genesis games. And we played it on an emulator a while back, and it still kind of holds up. Like,
yeah.
Obviously, it's not gonna have a million features like a game nowadays, and obviously the graphics are gonna be like old 8-bit low resolution. But like, it's still fun. Like, there's a lot to do. There's a lot of different types of missions. There's all kinds of different weapons you can get. There's different dinosaurs you can battle, and they change up the gameplay. Like mostly it's like a top-down shooter, but like sometimes they change it up, and there's like a raft sequence or like a bike sequence, and it's a pretty long game. Like it takes a while to beat that game.
It's open world kind of.
Yeah, it's kind of open world. Yeah, you wander around this big map on the island, and you can go on a boat, and it's co-op, so it's just two people running around doing whatever. But yeah, like I think it's still fun.
Yeah, absolutely. We spent many hours playing that game. If there was a tracker for how many hours we played that game, I would say it's in the 50s, 60s.
Yeah, probably. We were kids, so our video game time was limited.
Yeah, we don't remember how long.
But we played it a lot. It was like our favorite game on the Sega.
Yeah.
Outside of maybe like Sonic.
Yeah, that's true. And along with that, I think The Lost World is really kind of our movie because it came out after we were born. So it was kind of the Jurassic Park between 2 and 3, 1 and 2.
The first one came out in 92, was it?
It was 93.
So like basically the year I was born. Okay.
Yeah, and then we were too young to watch it. Well, I mean, we still watched it when we were like 7 or 8 when we were living in Connecticut. Yeah. But however old we were then, but we watched it. But then of course it had a huge impact on us. But when the second one came out, that was like our movie when we were younger, you know? Like that was the movie that we held on to because like, oh, this is Jurassic Park because we watched it in theaters.
Yeah, and we had all the toys. We had so many Jurassic Park toys. It was ridiculous.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, we had a lot of toys of a lot of things. Like we had a lot of Star Wars toys. We had a lot of Lord of the Rings toys. But Jurassic Park toys, we definitely spent a lot of time playing with.
Yeah, we had the T-Rexes. We had the camper from the second movie. If you guys don't know that, they made a toy of the camper from the second movie.
Yeah, we would reenact sequences from the movie and make Eddie Carr get eaten
many times.
Yeah, all kinds of people getting eaten.
Sometimes I think about like, what if there's an Eddie Carr figure that would you cut in half?
Oh my! You could take him apart and split him between two T-Rexes. And we had the Raptor toys too.
Yeah. We had quite an abundance of toys from the first and second movie.
I remember they had like these like weird fusion dinosaur toys one time.
Oh, those chaos control.
Yeah.
No, wait, that is chaos control is the thing that chaos does in. Oh no, that Shadow
does
does.
it.
Wait a second. What was it? Chaos theory. What was
Chaos theory. I think
it?
it's Chaos theory.
I have a computer in front of me.
Yeah. That Chaos theory would make the most sense, but
Chaos effect.
oh, okay, maybe that was it. Where they combine the dinosaurs and make weird.
Yeah. Chaos effect. Yeah.
Okay, that's it.
Little did we know this would be the plot of future Jurassic Park movies, right?
Yeah, that's pretty accurate.
I had.
You got like weird striped Dorsalophus.
Yeah, I don't know. These came out after 3, I think.
They had saber-toothed tigers or something.
After 2, I forget what year these came out. Either it was before 2 and 3, Jurassic Park 2 and 3.
Yeah, it was definitely before 3. I'm pretty sure.
But these toys, I guess they were trying to just market different toys. Oh, it came out after 2. Okay, so these came out in 1998, right after the Lost World movie. The movie came out in 97.
I guess they're just trying to do something new to keep the Jurassic Park toys in the public consciousness. I
don't know. I guess there was some uncertainty with the third movie's release date or whenever it would come out, so they released some weird toys to coincide with that or whatever.
That have nothing to do with the movie, but
yeah.
I mean, dinosaur toys were popular then. I don't know if they're still popular now, but they were definitely popular back then when the movies were coming out.
We don't go to toy stores to look to see.
Most people most kids play video games nowadays, so
it's true. All those kids are playing Fortnite.
Yeah.
Dinosaurs are in the back of their mind.
Oh man, if they had a dinosaur battle royale, like a battle royale game, but there were just dinosaurs roaming around the map and that could eat you.
Oh man,
that'd be intense.
I was gonna say, isn't that like that one game on Steam, the shooter where you're with all the dinosaurs, but then another team's dinosaurs, then another team is humans.
Oh, Primal Carnage.
Yeah, Primal Carnage, but like that's not PvE, it's PvP.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, there was also that dinosaur hunting game that didn't do very well.
Carnivores?
No, Primal.
Or the Hunt.
The Hunt
Primal.
Yeah.
That looked like it had a lot of potential. And it was like you land on a planet, some alien planet with dinosaurs on it, and it was co-op, and you had to survive. But it kind of got abandoned on Steam.
Right.
It was early access, and then they finally released it, and then no more updates, and it was still buggy apparently. So had a lot of potential. But Carnivores is a good series, though. I just wish they made a co-op version of that, which I thought the Hunt Primal was supposed to be, and I guess it kind of is, but you know, I don't know. There's still yet to be a good variety of like dinosaur games, like quality dinosaur games.
Yeah, so far they're kind of lackluster.
Yeah.
I mean, nothing can really live up to the games that we played when we were younger. Also, we were kids, so I think we were kind of jaded.
Yeah, when you're kids, you tend to be more enchanted with video games even if they're not that great. But also back when we were kids, games weren't exactly that advanced either, so you didn't exactly have a lot of expectations.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, there were a lot of things that were probably better for us as kids since we didn't really have a lot of choice either.
Yeah,
like just whatever came out, we're like, oh, that has a Jurassic Park license on it. Let's buy it. Yeah. Let's play with it.
But Operation Genesis was a good game, though. I think.
Yeah, I love that game a lot.
Yeah, So a little bit of backstory. Jurassic Park Genesis is basically a tycoon game. It's like Jurassic Park Tycoon. And so before we played this, we actually played quite a few tycoon games. Well, mostly Zoo Tycoon.
Yep.
We played a lot of Zoo Tycoon. And there was like the dinosaur expansion, and we played a lot of that.
Yep.
And we would like release the dinosaurs
Yep.
into the park, and the T-Rex would eat people. And we were like, hey, it wouldn't be cool if they just made a Jurassic Park version of this? And they did, kind of, yeah.
Still has the Toys R Us sticker on the box.
Oh, yeah.
Which is kind of cool. And
shopping at Toys R Us.
Yeah, and earlier this month they released Jurassic World Evolution.
Yeah, it seems like it's basically like a sequel to this. Similar concept.
Mm-hmm.
You build a park, you get to design it yourself, you manage resources. And then you could also, I was watching gameplay footage. You can also get into like a Jeep and just drive around and
you can get
tranquilize the dinosaurs.
You can get the 1993 Jurassic Park Jeep skin. And you just drive around in that. I was like,
and then there's sometimes there's storms and it knocks out the power and the dinosaurs get out.
I was like, wow, it's very just like the movies.
Yeah. So
but the game takes place on the 5 Deaths Islands. Each island has a different park on
which is not canon apparently.
No.
Because in the Jurassic World canon, apparently there's only one island, and the other islands they took dinosaurs off of. At least Site B.
Yeah.
But we'll talk about that later.
Yeah. But yeah, no. Going back to Jurassic Park Lost World games, we played probably all the arcade games, Jurassic Park arcade games. We played all of them.
I think we beat I know for sure we beat the second one multiple times.
We beat one twice. I remember that.
Oh yeah, the first one was really cool. It had nothing to do with. It wasn't really Jurassic Park. It was more just like a rail shooter that just happened to have dinosaurs in it.
Yeah.
But it was cool because at Chuck E. Cheese they had the version which had like a rumble seat, or like one of those seats that moves around.
It's kind of like a ride.
Yeah, it's like a ride.
To quote John Hammond,
you hold these joysticks. It's spared no expense.
Yeah.
You had these big joysticks, and you sat in this moving seat, and then you would just like shoot dinosaurs while you were zooming through a map. And it was like 8-bit. It wasn't like super high quality, but I mean, it came out probably around the time that the original movie came out. And then Jurassic Park 2, the Lost World game, was probably our favorite.
Yep.
And you would get inside this big giant booth, and you'd have the two guns. And then it also wasn't super closely related to the movie, but I would say like it had more of that movie feel because you had like T-Rex chase scenes.
Yeah.
And you also had dinosaurs that weren't in the movies. Like you had that giant crocodile, I don't remember, Dinosuchus, I think.
Yeah.
And then you had a Carnotaurus, like a Carnotaurus that could change the color of its skin so it could go invisible.
Which is from the Lost World book, by the way.
Yeah, which is probably what inspired the Indominus Rex.
Yes, 100%. Yep, you're right.
Having the ability to change colors and whatever. So it's not like they made that up out of the blue. Like that definitely came from the book or the game or whatever.
Yeah. Fun fact about the Lost World game, the Lost World Jurassic Park arcade game, the reason why it's different from the movies is because the designers and developers at Sega were given just assets from the movie.
Oh, before they were designing it before the movie came out?
Yep. So they didn't know what the movie was about. They were like, these are the characters, these are their names, this is the dinosaurs that will be in the movie. Here are past dinosaurs because there were no Dilophosaurus in
yeah,
the Lost
they
World.
were a big part of the game.
Yeah. So I was like, oh, okay. So then they really didn't know, but so the game kind of just stands on its own, which is fine. It makes for a fun arcade game, so I'm glad it's not canon or anything.
Yeah.
And the third one, actually, well, to put it simply, all three games are not canon, except for the first one is implied to be canon because it's supposed to take place after the fall of the island, and you're like a cleanup mission. Remember at the end, they're carrying all the dinosaurs and putting them back in their cages. I was like, oh, okay. But yeah, of course that's not canon. And we played the third one. We didn't beat it though. The one where there was like a button that you press to move out of the way.
Yeah, it was like Time Crisis. It was Time Crisis with dinosaurs.
Yeah.
We
which
didn't
was
play
fun.
a lot of it. I know a lot of arcades still carry the second one. I don't know if any carry the first one still, just because it's it's low quality. It's probably doesn't look like your standard arcade game anymore.
Yeah.
But the second one for sure, a lot of arcades still carry. I don't know about the third one though.
Nope.
It didn't seem that popular.
And technically, it's the fourth one. That's the newest one that came out by I forgot which company, but we played it at Dave and Buster's.
Yeah.
And we beat that.
That one's also similar to the second one, I would say.
Yeah. But we beat 3 of the 4 Jurassic Park arcade games. If there's any more, let us know. That's not pinball. We don't play pinball.
Yeah. I remember there's a part where it's either a Brontosaurus or Brachiosaurus, and it's like pooping on you. You have to shoot its ass.
Oh, yeah. That's in the second game.
Yeah, it's a fun time.
Like when you get hit, you're like, ah!
Yeah.
Like that screaming noise.
You get hurt.
Yeah, and you land in the mud or poop or whatever.
Yeah. Oh, man. That game
and compies come and get you. Yeah, no, I'm that game. Remember, we timed ourselves. It only took 20 minutes to beat that game.
Yeah,
because we knew it back to back.
Yeah, because we played it so many times.
Like we had a local Chuck E. Cheese in our hometown that we would always go to and play it.
Yeah.
And then one time when we went to Hawaii on vacation as a family vacation, there was an arcade downstairs from our hotel. We're like, oh shit, it has Jurassic Park Lost World.
Every arcade we went to, we would always look for the Jurassic Park game.
And if it didn't have it, we didn't go to that arcade.
Yeah, so it's like that's the main game we wanted to play. Like we didn't care about Time Crisis or any of that stuff.
Yeah, screw that.
We wanted to play some Jurassic Park.
Kill some dinosaurs.
Yeah.
You can kill humans in any other video game. Let's kill some dinosaurs once in a while.
Yeah. Shoot them in the face.
Yeah, pretty much. But yeah, no, that's we also played like the very first game on CD-ROM. Remember that?
Oh yeah.
It's like developed by Ocean.
Was that the one where it had a first-person mode on certain maps and the raptors? That was scary.
Yeah, that one was really scary.
It's like really dark hallway, and you walk around, and then like raptors will pop out and try to get you, and it's like first-person. Like it's only a portion of the game.
Yep.
I think it's like when you go into like these facilities.
You go into the command center.
Yeah, but otherwise it's like a like third-person
top down.
Yeah, top down, walk around,
like isometric kind of shooter. But yeah, that's fun.
Yeah.
And then I have a couple. I have one of the Game Boy Game Boy Color games.
Oh yeah,
not Game Boy Color, Game Boy games.
Yeah,
I have that one. And then we have like we mentioned Dino Defenders, and there was like a board game one, wasn't there?
Yeah, there's another one that went along with Dino. Maybe the same people that made Dino Defenders. Something Rescue
Rangers, whatever. I don't
something
remember.
like that. And you played like these little Power Ranger dudes who like had to save the dinosaurs and you threw gas grenades at them or something like that. But yeah, it was weird. I don't know.
I think we still have that. I have to go find that. No, we also have all 3 Jurassic Park movies on VHS. I'm looking at them right now. We can't play them because you won't have a VHS player, and they're pretty much obsolete by this year.
It's just like a relic, like an antique.
Something nice to look at.
It's for looks. It's nostalgia.
But that's what we watched the first Jurassic Park on. That's the exact videotape because we didn't watch it in theaters. We were too young, and it came out after we were born.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, it came out before we were born, and then during that time, it was pulled from theaters. So
we watched it with our parents for the first time, like on VHS.
But I remember watching The Lost World in theaters. Do you remember that?
Yeah, I fell asleep. I remember.
Yeah, you fell asleep during the T-Rex part. Yeah, I was trying to wake you up. I was like, "Yo, look!"
And I woke up, and then the pterodactyls were flying away at the end. And I was like, "Oh, what did I miss?"
You missed like an hour of the movie.
Yeah, I know. But eventually, we rewatched it. But like, and then like we rewatched that movie a lot, actually.
Yeah.
Probably like.
I still like that movie a lot.
I like it a lot. Apparently a lot of people don't like it, and I can kind of see why.
Fuck them.
But to me, Jurassic Park 2 is a great movie. I really like it. And maybe it's not just nostalgia. I honestly feel like it's a natural progression of Jurassic Park 1. Like, the first one, the park goes down, but in the second one, it's like obviously the dinosaurs still exist, and obviously the idea of creating a Jurassic Park zoo still exists. So of course some corporation's gonna try to make it a thing again, and try to bring it to the mainland, which is obviously a bad idea. But in the world of Jurassic Park, only a few people survived the initial disaster. So obviously all these other people are gonna be like, oh, it's gonna be fine. We'll just make a big giant zoo. Like, I don't know. To me, it made a lot of sense, and which is why I have a problem with Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom, because some of it doesn't make sense, but we'll get to that.
Yes, I know you're eager to talk about that. In a bit we'll talk about it. And then I like how Ian is pretty much the central character. He's the main character of that movie, and he kind of drives the whole vehicle forward.
And there's so many sequences in that movie that are like iconic. Like there's the cliff sequence with the camper. There's the velociraptors in the tall grass sequence.
Oh yes.
There's the sequence where they're out in the plains, tranquilizing the dinosaurs. And there's the raptor sequence in the facility where they lock themselves in and the raptors start digging under the door.
Yep. San Diego.
The San Diego, of course, which is it's weird at first, but like, I don't know, I think it was interesting to see
compared to what we saw. It's not weird. It's not weird at all. It's not weird.
But all in the boat sequence, like there's a lot of action sequences in that movie that are just like very memorable, I think.
Agreed. Yeah, no, totally, I agree. It's definitely, like you said, a good natural progression, and it's still about control. The first movie's all about control, genetic control.
Yeah.
And this one's more about like, can we take these dinosaurs that we made and bring them back and control them still in this zoo?
Yeah.
And the answer is no.
Yeah, the first one is like dinosaurs in this man-made structure, and then they get loose, and then the second one is at least one dinosaur actually gets loose in actual society. What would that be like? And so again, I feel like it's a natural progression. Like, it makes sense. Jurassic World makes sense as a sequel to Jurassic Park.
Yeah.
Or sorry, Jurassic Lost World makes sense as a sequel to Jurassic Park.
And then of course you have the third movie, which is the rescue mission movie.
Yeah, which is not a great movie, but I find it really funny. I think it's in an unintentionally hilarious movie.
Yeah.
And so that's why I like it, because there's so many dumb sequences in it, but they're still like funny, I guess.
Yeah, well, I mean, going back to the whole game aspect of it all, I bought the Lego Jurassic World game, which is basically all 4 movies minus Fallen Kingdom in one game, and they feature like a lot. They make fun of certain moments in the movie. For example, in the third movie, there's the Velociraptor saying "Alan," and then they show that in the Lego game. I thought that was really funny.
Yeah.
And then it's just I think the game does a really good job of showing like the movie, kind of like summarizing the movie, and also having just an overall sense of Jurassic Park when you're playing the game. Like, you feel like you're playing Jurassic Park, which is always fun.
Yeah, I noticed that in all the games they have some kind of vehicle sequence that gets really intense. And like, first one they had the cars, they had the rovers. Yeah, and then in the second one they had the camper.
Yep.
And then in the third one they had the plane.
Yep.
And then in Jurassic World, they have these roller balls.
The hamster balls?
Yeah, I don't know about that, but it's less relatable. Oh, no, the third one also had the boat. They had the plane, and they also had the boat.
Oh.
Yeah, so...
Fallen Kingdom has a boat. Does that count, too?
Well, there's no dinosaur sequence other than, like, them in the containers, but...
Oh, yeah.
I don't know if I would consider that, like, a dinosaur's endangered situation.
Well, we'll talk about that. We'll talk about that later. Anyways, yeah. What other Jurassic Park games did we play growing up?
Trespasser.
Oh my God! How could I forget?
Trespasser.
That's probably one of my. That's also Lost World tied in, and I love that game.
The design is a bit weird, but
for those that don't know, Trespasser, the Lost World Jurassic Park Trespasser, is a tie-in to the movie in a sense, and it's a first-person survival horror is what it's billed at. Except the survival part is not really. It's not like what it is today, where you have to eat food, drink water, all that stuff. It's more like you're involved in a plane crash. You land on Isla Sorna, which is the island from the second movie, and you're this new character named Anne, and then she has to like survive the island, but she also read John Hammond's memoir, like the book that he wrote about his experiences building the park, and so she has to survive the island and get to a radio tower and radio for help and all that stuff. So
yeah, and there's dinosaurs. They're not very fast. They're actually really slow.
Yeah, I know.
The raptors especially. So they're not that hard to kill. It is kind of scary though when you encounter one.
Yeah.
And what's interesting about it is there's no HUD.
Yes.
I believe it's one of the first games that did that kind of concept. There's no HUD, except you have a tattoo of a heart on your chest. So when you look down, you can tell how much health you have based on how filled the tattoo is.
Look at your boobs and you'll see.
And also, your character only has one arm for some reason. Like I don't know if she's missing an arm, but you're only allowed to use one arm, and you never see the other arm.
So some context for that: the developers couldn't render both arms, so they could only have one arm, and the game was rushed as well. That's why it's really buggy.
Yeah, so you can hold an AK-47 with a drum magazine with one arm and shoot it at dinosaurs
with little recoil.
yeah, it's interesting. That part's interesting. But it's a lot of physics based, and so unlike in a lot of games where you just kind of see your arms on the screen, and you see your gun on the screen, but you can walk around and like go up to stuff and like move your arms around or whatever, and it doesn't do anything. In this game, your arm is rendered like with everything else, if that makes sense. So it's like basically if you're holding out a gun and you flop it around, you'll knock things over. Like your arm can bump into walls and stuff like that. So that one part was kind of interesting, I guess. And yeah, like if you had a gun, if you had your arms outstretched and you had a really big gun in like a tight corner situation, it would actually be very inconvenient because you wouldn't be able to move your gun around as much.
Yeah. A lot of computers at the time couldn't run that game because of all the physics you just mentioned. Yeah. So it's kind of interesting that for a game, it's kind of like it was kind of like the Crysis of its time, but also not, because it wasn't used as a benchmark tool, kind of like Crysis is, but it's more like it's a game that came out so far ahead of its time that it came out so unfinished and so raw that when people put it in their computers, they just couldn't play it. It was like it ran at like 10 frames a second or something like less, because there was so much graphic intensity for cards that didn't exist. So I thought that was really interesting, because for a game that they rushed to meet the deadline of the movie, they did a pretty good job despite all of its flaws.
I like the John Hammond parts, because like as you're walking around, you'll hear his voice like kind of explain why he built the park and like his opinions on things, and it's like it's kind of gives you some backstory, which is really cool. Yeah,
that's probably my favorite part of that game.
Yeah,
is the Richard Attenborough reprising his role as John Hammond.
Yeah, and that part's really cool. And there's like some puzzles you have to do and like some codes you have to find. And, yeah, it's an all right game.
Dinosaurs you have to
find. The AI could be better, but I mean, for back then, I think it was decent.
Yeah, and then there's a lot of they also mentioned things from the movie that happened, because in the timeline sense, the Trespasser game takes place after the Lost World movie, like I think 2 or 3 years after, and then so they'll feature a moment, like if you go to a very specific beach, you'll hear like the girl from the beginning of the Lost World, like her voice, like "Mommy, Daddy, come look at this," and then I was like, "Oh wow!" And then John Hammond will mention something I think about it, like a family stumbling across the island, and then you'll go to a field and you'll see some wrecked cars, and then John Hammond will mention the hunters that came and tried to take the dinosaurs away from his nephew led them. I was like, wow, this is so cool. But it turned out, of course, that was all not canon. The whole game isn't canon because the island is shaped differently. The events that happen in the game are, although they do seem like they could be canon, with this recent movie, I don't think they are canon anymore. Yeah. So,
but yeah, I thought one of the cool parts was, even though it's not a canon, and even though it's not canon, but it was really cool to like explore the park and see different parts of it, and like you go like to these residential areas where like the workers lived, and there's like this big like mansion type building, and then like you go like to these radio towers, and you can go to different paddocks. You can go on the monorail system, and it was like there's like a lot to explore, and it was I liked the atmosphere of it.
Yeah, and for those listening that find this interesting, if you want to play it, I do recommend it, although the graphics are extremely dated. Yeah. But you will enjoy it for the story and kind of the characters and overall the sense of adventure you feel, because it does feel like it ties into the movie. So if you ignored Jurassic World and Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom and you just watched all three of the Jurassic Park movies and played this game, then I think you'll get a lot of enjoyment out of it.
Yeah, it has the same feel, I would say.
Yeah, it does feel like a Jurassic Park video game, which is great.
Yeah. Like it, yeah, definitely.
Yeah, no, that was one of my favorite games ever growing up, and I still have the file somewhere, or like the CD or something. I have to go find it.
And then of course another game is obviously the Lego Jurassic Park games.
Yeah, I mentioned that earlier.
Jurassic World, yeah.
Yeah, I like how they all make fun of things that happen in the movies, so that's really fun. And then I like that you can like drive the different vehicles in the movies. You can be all the like
you be all these really obscure characters.
Yeah, they all have names. Like what? So that was cool.
Yeah, and then the Jurassic World part, you can make your own dinosaur and run around as your own dinosaur.
Yep.
So that part's pretty fun too.
Yeah, I think that's probably one of even though it's a Lego game, it really does feel like Jurassic Park. Because, it's set in the movies, and the hub world is, the hub worlds are from the movies. So I think that's really cool.
Yeah. Lego, who is it? Warner Brothers games or whatever?
It's Telltale? Not Warner Brothers, it's Telltale. They just other companies just license their properties to Telltale, and then they just make the Lego games.
But those Lego games, they usually have a pretty good track record.
Yeah, agreed. And there's also that point-and-click Jurassic Park game.
Yeah, made by the same people who made like The Walking Dead, and they made a Back to the Future one too.
No, that's Telltale. I meant that's Telltale. Traveler's Tales is the one that makes the Lego games.
Oh, okay.
They both have TT. Yeah. Traveler's Tales makes the Lego games. Telltale makes the point-and-click ones. Yeah. So both companies use licenses from other properties.
Yeah, they just take third-party licenses and make good games out of them. Well, some of them are good. Yeah. The Telltale games for Jurassic Park. I remember watching you play through some of it. It's like a sequel to, or it's in between Jurassic Park, the first one, and Lost World. And so like it has a connection to Dennis Nedry, taking the embryos, the DNA, and then losing it, and then there's like a team that's like trying to look for that. So it's I don't remember how it turned out.
Overall, it just wasn't very good. Wasn't a very good game.
Yeah. And then they also released the Jurassic Park mobile game that's basically Pokemon Go. But
you have to pay for it.
Yeah, but you have to pay for it. So I was like, bullshit. I don't know about that. Like, it's a subscription. It's not like, you pay like $5 and you get to play this game. It's like, hey, pay $9.99 a month and you get to play it. And I'm like, I don't know about that.
Yeah, I don't want to pay for a game that I'm not going to play all the time.
Yeah,
Pokemon Go's free.
But it's basically Pokemon Go. You walk around and you collect dinosaurs. You get new ones. And then you can like make them battle or whatever. And then
just like Pokemon Go.
Yeah, it's basically just Pokemon Go.
So just play Pokemon Go. Even though you might love dinosaurs and you might think this is interesting, just play Pokemon Go.
Is it worth $10 a month? Probably not.
If you want that fix, just play Pokemon Go.
Yeah.
All right. Are there any other video games you want to talk about that are Jurassic related?
I feel like that's it. I'm sure there are other games that we haven't played, but we've played a good chunk of Jurassic Park games.
Yeah, we're not saying that we're experts. We're just saying that we're a couple of fans that love the Jurassic Park license.
We loved everything Jurassic Park when we were kids, and we still do.
Yeah.
So yeah, we got a lot of the stuff, even the bad stuff. But yeah, we've played so many of the games.
Yeah, that's right. All right. So thank you all for listening this far to our spiel about the Jurassic Park video game licenses, I guess. So now we're going to talk about Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom. For those that are listening, this is your cue to leave because we're going to spoil the movie a little bit. And we both saw it opening night and we watched it in our local theater. We came out with not different opinions. I'd say we came out with the same opinion.
Yeah, but our opinions may differ from a lot of other people.
Yeah, all right. So you have 5 seconds to leave. 4, 3, 2, 1. All right, Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom, spoilercast. Let's go.
So my opinion is someone, just in the same way that Jurassic World The first one is supposed to be like, it's like it's a direct sequel to the first Jurassic Park, kind of ignoring the other ones. And it's basically a it's basically a kind of like a remake. It's the same idea. There's a park, something goes wrong, and dinosaurs get out, and there's a bunch of humans that have to deal with this situation. In that way, Fallen Kingdom is basically the second one. It's Lost World, but with the Jurassic World spin on it. With the made up dinosaurs that are genetically modified to be whatever, to be scarier, and the whole idea of like weaponizing dinosaurs. So it's just basically it's Lost World, but with that kind of spin to it.
Yeah, agreed. It has similar beats, not the same beats as the Lost World. But
yeah, I mean, it starts out in a mansion with a rich guy who's basically John Hammond. And then you have this shady younger businessman guy who's basically Peter Ludlow,
his nephew.
And I'll get back to that. But and then you have this like game hunter type leader character who's basically supposed to be Roland Timbo, and you have the mercenaries, and you have them bringing dinosaurs to the mainland, and
which they do successfully.
Yeah. And they capture the T-Rex and all that. So there's some very similar beats to Lost World, and I'd say the second part is where it gets a lot more different, but I don't know if I think that's a good thing.
Well, agreeing with your first sentiment, I also did not like the movie that much, and I feel like it didn't feel a lot like Jurassic World. The very first part when they go to the island, that did feel like Jurassic Park and Jurassic World, but overall it didn't. I feel like the movie didn't really fit in the franchise,
because I feel like it's trying to take the franchise in a weird direction, like something new and different. But I don't know if it's good for the franchise. I remember there was a review I was watching a long time ago for Jurassic World, and they were talking about how dinosaurs are scary because you knew that they were real. And, it felt realistic. Obviously, in real life, you can't bring dinosaurs back because, all the DNA expires, essentially. All the DNA degrades to the point where we couldn't actually clone them. But, it's still believable that, if you could clone dinosaurs, this is what it would be like. And then Jurassic World kind of changes that a bit because you have this made-up dinosaur, which is not real. So it's more of a monster movie than like a animal disaster movie,
Yeah.
I agree with that with Jurassic World, but I still enjoyed Jurassic World. So, yeah, like going off that point that, what made Jurassic World more of a monster movie is because you have this made-up dinosaur that can do all these crazy things. And then they take that concept and do it again in Fallen Kingdom, except they try to, make it more intense because they have, this dinosaur that's not only meant to be scary, but is also specifically designed to be a weapon. And
right.
I guess it's the idea of weaponizing dinosaurs that I have the biggest problem with. Because, again, like I was saying with Lost World, it feels like a natural progression. Like, you have Jurassic Park 1, you have a park, and something goes wrong. It's mostly the fault of Dennis Nedry, but also the storm.
Absolutely.
And so you have a park, stuff goes wrong, life finds a way, the dinosaurs get out, and it creates this whole disaster. And there's a couple people survive. In the second movie, obviously, the dinosaurs still exist. The company still exists, InGen. And so obviously there's going to be some greedy businessmen who say, the park didn't work the first time, but we can do it better. And so they try to take the dinosaurs, try to bring them to the mainland because it makes more sense to them business-wise. And then, a dinosaur gets out and, that whole ordeal happens. And third is a little weird. It's more of like a isolated situation because it's just a group of people going to the island trying to find some kid. So that's a different situation, but it still felt like Jurassic Park because it was still like a survival situation with a few people. And like it was like, running around the jungle, all these dinosaurs trying to take these people out. But Jurassic World still had that Jurassic Park theme. It's more of a what if Jurassic Park succeeded. And so it still has that whole idea of there's a park and the dinosaurs are being controlled by humanity and the dinosaurs get out. And obviously there's a made up dinosaur. That's a whole nother situation there.
Planet of the Apes.
Yeah, but
by the same writers.
yeah, and so it still sort of makes sense, you know, like even Jurassic Park 3, which again is not a great movie, but I guess it's to me it's believable that some family would go to extreme lengths to find their kid this way, even though it's a bad idea. I think it's kind of believable that if you had this family who lost their kid on this island and no one was willing to go out there and rescue them, that they would go to like extreme lengths to save their kid.
Yeah.
And again, Jurassic World, I believe, is believable for the most part. You know, they've successfully built the park. They try something new, and it all goes wrong. And so what I'm trying to say is, even though the dinosaurs themselves isn't realistic, quote unquote, but the situations and the motivations all seem believable. And so my problem with Fallen Kingdom is the motivations and the situations don't seem believable. And I'm talking about the weaponizing dinosaurs part. Like, it just doesn't make sense to me. It just doesn't seem like a reasonable motivation. Like,
you're referring to the auction specifically?
Yeah, the auction part and like the idea that, hey, we're designing these dinosaurs that are supposed to be weapons. Like, like what can a dinosaur do that a drone or a highly trained soldier couldn't do? You know, like, how is that different? Like, there's a scene where, in order to demonstrate how the dinosaur could be used as a weapon, a guy points a gun at another guy, turns on a laser pointer so that the dinosaur looks at him, and then plays a sound to make the dinosaur attack. If you're pointing a gun at a guy and your goal is to kill that guy, why not just shoot him with the gun? Like, why do you need a raptor to attack him? And a raptor is not exactly a precision or a stealthy method of killing someone, so it's like, what's the point? You know, like, is it just to incite fear? Like, I'm sure there's better ways of doing that. Like, I don't know, it doesn't, like, and there's a part where they say, like, oh, we've been using animals for centuries to, you know, in war. And it's like, yeah, but there's a reason that's not a thing anymore outside of dogs. Like, you're not sending attack rhinos and lions and tigers or whatever at people in war, because it doesn't make sense to when you have all this technology, and animals are obviously not 100% controllable. So, like, why do it again, but with dinosaurs? Yeah,
I'm adding on to that. My point was, when we were talking about this on our walk home from the theater, I said that, or Hoskins in the first movie said that when all the tech goes dark, you know, we'll only have the animals to fight. And I was like, okay. But then in the second movie, Fallen Kingdom, they show the guy with the gun and laser pointer and all that. What if that went dark?
Yeah,
then you can't control.
You're using tech to control the dinosaurs.
So there's no point. Like, it's stupid.
Yeah, like how do you communicate with them? Like, you can control a drone, you know, remotely. You could talk to a human using like a headset. Like, how are you going to communicate with a dinosaur?
Yeah.
You know, like, how do you tell it what to do without outside of electronics or technology? And so it renders that point, you know, mute. Like, it doesn't make sense.
Yeah, even though Chris Pratt can control the dinosaurs, he doesn't even control them. They just listen to him. And they do whatever they want. Yeah, they like 90% do whatever they want. And when he's talking to them, like, oh, hey, it's the guy that, you know, kind of raised us. But they're still, like, extremely aggressive and volatile animals that will do whatever they want.
Yeah, and if raptors are so smart, they'll know that they're in captivity and they're not going to like it. Like,
yeah, exactly.
So, I don't know. It doesn't make... And then there's a part where they buy the dinosaurs. And you're like, okay, and all these companies, like Armenian arms dealers or some
Russians
and dudes from Indonesia or whatever, they buy dinosaurs. They each buy, like, one dinosaur at least. And so, like, what is their plan? Like, they're just going to take that one dinosaur and try to train it or do something with it? And so you might say, oh, well, their goal is to take that dinosaur's DNA and maybe, like, clone it or something. Then why not just sell the DNA? Why are you selling this whole big, giant dinosaur? Like, why not just be like, hey, we have a bunch of DNA? Because they clearly have a lab, so they could clearly get that, you know, that material. And so all they have to do is be like, hey, we got a bunch of these dinosaur DNAs. Here's the dinosaurs on display. But if you want one of them, we have a bunch of vials that you can buy. And they could make so much more money off of that. Why do they have to sell the actual animal?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know.
You remember that game Dino D-Day?
Yeah.
It's like that. Put guns on dinosaurs.
Yeah, actually. Dino D-Day, but Dino D-Day is obviously not a serious game.
No.
But for those not familiar, Dino D-Day is this game on Steam where it's like, well, what if the Germans in World War II cloned dinosaurs? And so you have like T-Rex with chain guns on its mouth. And you have like
badass.
And you have like a Styracosaurus with a giant tank cannon on its back. And then you have like velociraptors, like not the
just
big,
regular velociraptors.
Yeah, like actual real velociraptors, so like the really tiny bird-looking ones. But
they don't have any guns.
Still scary. Though,
yeah,
because they could just jump on you and eat you. And then you have like compies that have grenades strapped to them that like self-destruct.
Yep.
You have a Dilophosaurus, which also doesn't have anything on it, but it's big. Unlike in Jurassic Park, it's more realistic. So it's like this big dinosaur with it doesn't have the poison or whatever, but it can like knock people around. Oh, and then you have a bunch of other dinosaur creatures. You have like a sniper who can call down a suicide pterodactyl.
Yep.
Yeah, there's a bunch. And the Americans, the Allies, the Allies have one dinosaur.
A little Triceratops.
Yeah. I don't know. Yeah, he's like a Protosaurus or something like that.
Yeah.
And he has like a little like machine gun on his back.
Yeah, he's like a 30 cal machine gun.
30 cal on his back and a little robot leg. He's like a rescued one.
Yep.
Yeah, but like it's a fun game, but it's obviously not meant to be taken seriously. Like obviously in World War II, that probably wouldn't work. Strapping chain guns on a T-Rex and letting it run loose probably wouldn't be a good idea.
Yeah, unless you were controlling it via your
mouse
and
keyboard.
How
can you?
Yeah, mouse and keyboard.
Yeah, okay. And also that game has if you're the American guy and you get 3 kills, you can also go into like a super American mode where
so
it
OP.
plays this patriotic music and there's stars and stripes and you go into berserk mode and punch things. You can literally walk up to a T-Rex and punch it to death.
3 hits
as the
dead.
American guy. Yeah. So obviously again, that game's not meant to be taken seriously. It's just like like what if dinosaurs had guns and it was this crazy random shenanigans? Like I don't
fun
know.
game. It's also 99 cents on
fun.
Steam.
Yeah, it's so fun, though.
It's so cheap right now. Go to Steam and buy it, and we'll all play together.
Yeah, yeah. But anyways, like obviously Jurassic World is trying to be more realistic. Like obviously there's some comedic moments, and I laughed at a lot of them.
I think the movie takes itself too seriously.
But the movie itself is trying to be really serious and have this message about like, altering genetics is wrong, but they relay that message in a weird way.
Yeah, it's very campy. There are moments where I'm like, oh my god.
They have that subplot with the granddaughter where it's like, oh, did I look like my mom? And it's like, yeah, but you've probably never seen your mom, right?
Yeah.
And then she does see her mom, a picture of her mom, and it looks just like her. And then me and Jeremy were just like, oh, okay, she looks a lot like her mom. Okay, so what?
Yeah.
And later on, they're like, oh, you don't know what she is. This is why Lockwood and John Hammond had a falling off because John Hammond just wanted to clone dinosaurs, and Lockwood, he wanted to bring his daughter back. And you're just like, oh, so she's a clone. And I'm like, what's the implication there? That they're going to start cloning humans?
Yeah, I know. Like, is that a bad thing? What's the bad part about that?
Yeah, I guess. Okay, that's like that would be an interesting plot point in another movie. But in Jurassic Park, I'm like, okay, this is a weird subplot.
I thought it was Jurassic, not human park.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
So I don't know what they're trying to say about that. And I get the whole idea, like at the end, where it's like, oh, it's because they try to connect the girl with the dinosaurs. They're like, oh, she's a clone and they're clones, and that's why she lets them go because they're like her. But still, like they make a big deal out of this subplot, and it's just like, like what is that gonna say that in Jurassic World 3 they're gonna start have clone humans or human dinosaur hybrids like their concepts?
We'll see.
We'll
see. But there were moments when I was just turning to you like, what the hell is this movie? Like, remember? I was like, I don't know what's going on.
What is this movie?
What's happening right now?
Yeah, they had like the whole subplot with Lockwood and so the I don't even know his name. The shady business dude. Like that guy
Mills. I just remember he has a generic name.
Yeah, something really generic. Like he's basically the equivalent of Peter Ludlow in Lost World, but Peter Ludlow is a much more believable character. He's just some businessman who wants to, get rich and make bring back Engine to the public spotlight and have dinosaurs again. Like it makes sense. He's just a businessman who wants to increase the business by redoing the park on the mainland. Where this other guy, he's like a cartoon villain. He's like unbelievably evil and maniacal, and
so
he's just
stupid.
like, and he kills this guy that he worked years with, and who's who's kind of like a father figure to him probably.
Yep.
He just like straight up kills him because he doesn't want to turn himself in. Instead of like, oh, I'm gonna knock him out, or oh, I'm gonna find another way to get rid of him. I'm gonna smother him with a pillow. It's like, oh my god.
I will say, I thought Benjamin Lockwood would be a bad guy too, because when she's like, they're gonna sell the dinosaurs, like Maisie said it to him, he's like, oh, I'll find it out in the morning. I thought he was hiding it, but he really didn't know. And I was like, wow, you didn't know that there was all this shit going on in your house?
And if you took him out and you just said, hey, either if you took out the young guy, or if you took out Lockwood and just had the young guy, it wouldn't have made much of a difference. If you took out the whole subplot with the clone girl too, like it wouldn't have changed the story very much. And then there's also this like nurse character or caretaker character who was also kind of pointless to the story.
Yeah.
Like I guess she was supposed to add some emotional weight to the reveal that she's a clone, but it didn't really. Like I don't know. There's no point to that character. The subplot, this human, obviously the Jurassic Park movies have to have human subplots because it makes it relatable and it has another message. Like the first Jurassic Park has a subplot about like Dr. Grant not wanting kids, but then throughout the movie he bonds with these kids that he's trying to save, and in the end like he understands like family and all that.
Yeah.
So obviously there has to be human subplots, but some of the human subplots in Jurassic World: Fallen Kingdom just don't add anything. They don't do anything.
It's true.
Yeah.
Well, to be fair, if you took out Benjamin Lockwood and Mills, then they wouldn't have a reason to go to the island.
Yeah, but if you just had one of them.
I see.
Guy
Okay.
Yeah.
I thought you said take out both of them.
Yeah, if you just had Lockwood and Lockwood turned out to be evil, or if you just had the younger guy and the younger guy was evil the whole time, like it wouldn't have made a difference.
Yeah, exactly.
Like,
yeah.
And if you just took out the little girl, it wouldn't have changed too much.
Yeah.
And another point is there's not a lot of character development. Like I don't see any of the characters changing. Maybe Claire, because in the beginning she wants to save the dinosaurs, and at the end she makes the conscious decision not to save them.
Yeah.
She realizes that. So if anything, she gets character development, but Owen doesn't change at all. Like nothing changes about his perspective or anything. Like it did in Jurassic World. He definitely had character development. Both of them did. But then in this movie, nothing. Like he's still the same. I guess the little girl had character development. But other than that, it was just Claire and the little girl. Like none of the other characters changed, including like the scaredy cat IT guy that was there.
Yeah?
Like, I don't know.
That guy was useless.
Yeah, he was comic relief, I guess. But why did they bring him? He seemed like he was not the kind of guy you want in that situation.
I know. The only part that made me really laugh with him was when he was like, hey, you guys okay? He's like, yeah. How about you? No. That was the part that made me laugh.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, you're not okay. All that shit you went through.
So, the point they brought, it seems like their reason for bringing him was because he knows about technology and he's going to help them get into the park.
The hacker.
Yeah. Well, why not bring back that guy from the first movie who was in the control center? Remember that guy who had the little trinkets on his desk and he had the Lost World book or whatever? Like, why not bring back that guy? Because he clearly worked in Lost World or Jurassic World. Yeah. So why not just bring him back? He was funny. He was a comic.
Why not do a lot of things in the movie, Jordan? Yeah. Why not do a lot of things? There's a lot of things in the movie that should have been done.
And then they bring the other girl because she's an animal doctor. But it's like, don't you think if Lockwood was spending money to save these dinosaurs and hire a bunch of mercenaries to capture them, that he'd also hire an animal doctor or multiple animal doctors?
Well, technically, he hired her because through Claire.
Yeah, but did he know that, or did Claire just bring them along?
Well, here's the other thing too. That girl in the beginning, remember she said, "I'm a paleo doctor. She treats dinosaurs," but she's never seen a dinosaur. How does that make sense?
Yeah.
What does that mean?
And she just knows how to help the raptor. I don't know.
What does that mean? Like, I'm sure the raptor's body structure might be a little like similar to what it was 65 million years ago, but still, like, how does she know how to do that? What? Right?
Yeah, those two characters, they just made no sense. I don't know. They were just there.
Take them out.
To like, I guess they were the young people, to like relate with the younger audience, but I don't know. They were kind of pointless. Like,
and we talked about this off the podcast, but it was just the thing about the whole genetic dinosaur thing. Just got old. Like it's already old at this point. Like just hybrid dinosaurs, just like stop doing that.
Yeah, they're bringing back chaos
effect. Just don't do chaos effect anymore. Those toys were shitty. Just don't bring it back into the movies.
Yeah, I don't know why they're doing this.
Well, to wrap it all up, how much money do you think this movie made so far? I see the number, but I want you to guess.
Probably like 10 million or something. I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of people went to see it.
524 million.
Oh my gosh.
Yep. There's a third one coming out. So the third one coming out.
It's already made 500. It's only come out like a day.
Yes, it's $524 million.
Okay. Well,
it hasn't been released in Europe yet. So,
because it came out internationally before the US, right?
That's a great question.
I think that was the case. Because I remember a lot of reviews came out for it.
I guess so.
And people were saying that that might be why it made so much money so quickly.
I don't know. But the writer and director of the first film is also wrote this film along with one of the other co-writers from the first film. So the director of the first film, Colin Trevorrow, and his co-writing partner Derek Connolly both wrote this movie, and I don't know why it's so shit. I don't know what they did wrong, know. And Trevorrow's directing the third one, and he's gonna write the third one too, I believe. So. That means, what the fuck, right?
So, it seems like what they're implying by the end of this movie is that dinosaurs are out in the world And what Ian Malcolm says is about like, oh, if we're not careful, they're gonna be here long after us. So
Post-apocalyptic dinosaurs. Calling it now.
That's what it seems like it's leading towards. It's like, oh, dinosaurs are just gonna be everywhere, and people are gonna be using dinosaurs as weapons, and some dinosaurs are gonna be running around wild. And so it's like, I guess that's what they're leading up to, which again doesn't make sense to me as a natural progression. And another point that Chris Stuckman brought up when he did his Fallen Kingdom review was like, in canon, there's 2 islands. There's 5 islands technically, but there's 2 islands with dinosaurs on them. And the site B, Isla Sorna, is the island in Jurassic Park 2 and Jurassic Park 3.
Yep.
So in canon, apparently, there's no more dinosaurs on that island. They took all the dinosaurs from site B and moved them back to site A.
That's right,
which is Isla Nublar. And Isla Nublar is the island that blew up because of the volcano. But as far as we know, Isla Sorna still exists as a normal island without a volcano on it, where there's just no dinosaurs, but dinosaurs used to live there. So if you really wanted to save the dinosaurs, why not just take dinosaurs and bring them back to the other island?
Yeah, I thought that was the haven they were talking about.
Yeah, but apparently it was a different island. So it's like, wait, Lockwood, if you really wanted to bring dinosaurs, if you wanted to save them, why not just bring them back to Site B?
Yeah. Nublar and Sorna are really close to each other. Well, not super close, but they're like ship distance away.
And based around how volcanoes usually form islands, it's like something to do with tectonic plates. But generally, the volcano exists on like one island, and the other islands were formed like millions of years ago, like kind of like Hawaii, basically.
Yeah.
There's only one active volcano on one of the islands. So as far as we know, Isla Sorna does not have an active volcano on it. So bring the dinosaurs back there.
Yeah.
Like, it's not too far away. Like,
it's got everything you need. It's bigger than Nublar.
Yeah, so
a lot bigger.
Honestly, they could have just made a movie about them attempting to bring dinosaurs from one island to another, and all the things that go wrong in that situation.
That would have been like kind of like full circle from Lost World, because they're bringing it to the island from the Lost World.
Yeah, exactly.
That would have been awesome.
And so, like, in the process of trying to save some of these dinosaurs, they get out, and you can have a sequence on the boat. The boat crashes or something like that, like in Lost World, and you just you can have all these different. You could probably have done so much more with this, other than, hey, we're selling dinosaurs as weapons now, and that makes no sense.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know.
Yeah. No, I don't know where they're going with this franchise.
Yeah.
But
I think you're right though. I think it's gonna be post-apocalyptic dinosaurs.
And I don't like that. Because Colin Trevorrow's directing it again, and I'm like, please take him off the project. Put someone else on there. Steven Spielberg, you're just sitting there, just looking. Steven Spielberg executive produced Fallen Kingdom. Like, yo, do you know what's happening right now? Yes, you're making a lot of money, but the story sucks so badly.
Yeah, and again, it's the whole idea of like, is it relatable? Is it believable? It's believable that if animals got out of a zoo, that they would attack. They could attack people, and that it would be dangerous or whatever. But once you get to the point where you have dinosaurs running around with as weapons, and like people using dinosaurs, like, that's less believable, less relatable, like, because that situation doesn't really exist in real life. You don't have people running around with tigers, using tigers as weapons or something. Like, I don't know, it's not as quote unquote realistic, like there has to be some level of logic and reason to it, and I don't know, that doesn't fit the bill for me, at least.
Yeah, agreed. Okay, so we're gonna wrap up here, but we've been bashing on this movie. Let's say one thing that we like about the movie, and I'll say I like the part when they went to Isla Nublar. The whole sequence was awesome. That's my favorite.
I don't know if I guess like is probably a weird word, but I felt like a good moment. Well, not a good moment, but a very impactful moment was the scene where the Brontosaurus is slowly walking on the dock as the island is getting consumed.
He's like, "Wait for
me!" It was so sad. Yeah, and I was like, "Oh, that's it. There it is. There's the franchise dying."
Yep.
There's that moment.
Someone's gonna make a gif of that
blowing up right there.
Yeah, I know. Melted away.
But in all honesty, I felt like that was a really emotional moment.
Yeah.
You're seeing not all the dinosaurs made it. Some of them jumped off the cliff and probably drowned.
Oh, yeah.
But like, if you don't like seeing animals in peril, this movie has a lot of that.
Peter has a word with the director.
Yeah, but I'd say the first part of the movie is still pretty good. Like, it's fun. There's a lot going on. Another point I wanted to bring up is kind of going off of how that one guy is sort of like Peter Ludlow. So you have that other guy who's supposed to be sort of like Roland Timbo, but he's also like just like this evil douchebag character.
He's like the classic cartoon hunter bad guy.
And he's like, oh, I'm gonna steal the animal's teeth too and make a necklace. And it's like, Roland Timbo he wasn't a bad guy. He was a guy who was hired to capture dinosaurs, but he didn't do it for money. His goal was just to be the greatest hunter in the world, and all he wanted was to kill a T-Rex because that would make him the greatest hunter in the world.
His character sounds very simple, but he's actually kind of deep.
Yeah, and he wasn't an ass either. Like when he ran into the people that caused, that caused all the dinosaurs to get out. That basically he knew that they broke in and let the dinosaurs out, but he still teamed up with them because they had to survive. And and he had a friend. He had RJ. He had his friend. And his friend died, and he was sad about it.
Yep.
And I was just and then in the end, he was like, "Screw InGen. Like, I don't care about this company. I don't want to. I spent enough time in the company of death. Like, it's." He was actually a pretty deep character. He was a complex, he wasn't one dimensional. Whereas this other guy, I don't know any of the names of these characters.
I don't remember.
I remember Kingdom, other than Lockwood. That's the only character I remember.
Yeah.
But yeah, like this one guy, this hunter dude, he's so cartoon, one-dimensional villain. Like, I don't know. None of these villains were compelling.
Yeah, not exactly. I agree.
Yeah.
All right. Anything else to add before we close up?
Just said Jurassic Park franchise is going in a weird direction, and honestly, another thing I want to add.
Okay.
So a lot of people don't like the direction that like Star Wars is going. They're doing something similar where they're changing up the direction of it. They're adding new people. They're changing, the way it works. Like they're adding a bunch of stuff, retcons and all that.
Yeah.
So a lot of people don't like the way that Star Wars is going, and some people have sort of like boycotted it and decided. I'm not one of those people. Like I do. There's some things I definitely don't agree with. With Star Wars, but I still enjoy the movies. I still want to watch them. But the thing is, if you don't want to commit to Star Wars anymore, that's fine. There's like a million other sci-fi, like space, fantasy type, movies, franchises you can go to. There's a lot of that. It's space opera type stuff. But with Jurassic Park franchise, how many good series are there about dinosaurs? If I want to watch a good dinosaur series, how much is out there? Not a lot as far as I know. So if this franchise, if I realize like I don't like this franchise anymore, what are my other options? There's nothing else I can go to watch dinosaurs.
Sci-fi Netflix have shitty dinosaur shows and movies involving humans.
There's very few good dinosaur games. There's very few good dinosaur movies. It's just like someone's got to do dinosaurs right. Someone's got to do right by these dinosaurs.
Steven Spielberg gave up already. He's just like, what? I just want money now.
Yeah, like I want to see good dinosaur movies and
play good dinosaur games.
Yeah,
I agree.
We'll see what happens in
Jurassic Evolution, I heard, is not that bad. So Jurassic World Evolution.
I heard it's not worth the current price point.
Yeah.
There's not enough content to warrant the current price point. But who knows? They could update it down the line.
They will.
Yeah, and make it better.
Yeah. All right. So thanks, Jordan, for coming on the podcast.
Of course.
That was fun talking about our little history with the Jurassic license video games and a little spoiler cast for Jurassic World: Fallen Kingdom. If you listened this far, thank you so much for listening to the 58th episode of Downtime Podcast, and we'll see you next time.
All right. See ya.